Hi, I'm Dory Demers, and I'm the Rise Vermont coordinator. Rise Vermont is a community initiative to embrace healthier lifestyles, improve the quality of life, and reduce healthcare costs of where we live, work, and play. We are pleased to bring you Rise TV, a weekly syndicated show on Northwest Access Television, bringing us all tips, tricks, and resources to embrace a healthier lifestyle. We are thrilled that we are partnering with the Vermont Department of Health St. Albans District Office to offer these tapings as WIC-approved activities. Please be sure to listen for your WIC-approved phrase that'll appear at the bottom of your screen here and also be told by the co-host. This will be what you will have to report back to your local district office to get credit for your second nutrition education. If you'd like more information about Rise Vermont, head to www.risevermont.com or follow us on social media. I really hope you enjoy the show, and thank you for joining us in embracing a healthier lifestyle and creating a healthier community for all of us and generations to come. Thank you.
Hi, and welcome to Rise Vermont TV. My name is Brian Kluke, and I'm the Rise Vermont Health Coach. And today we're going to be talking about office stretching, as well as some flexibility, and we're going to be talking about some mindfulness and relaxation, a little bit of everything. And today with me is...
Hi, I'm Moretti. I'm a wellness specialist with Rise Vermont as well.
Perfect. So today, why we're focused on not only the office, I shouldn't have started out by saying that, but just sitting in general. Usually in an office job or position, you are seated in a position for a long period of time, staring at a computer screen. And today we're going to go over some stretches to alleviate some pain or to mitigate any stress that you may have built up in your muscles or things of that nature.
It's also just really important if you work in an office setting, or even if you're seated in front of a TV for long periods of time, to remember to get up, move around, take breaks, not only from what you're doing, but also to get your blood flowing, to get up and get some water, to keep drinking water. So it's not even just about stretching, but it's also just about getting up and moving your body.
Yeah, which is an important note. Some of the stretches we'll go over today are in the seated position, so you don't get up and move. However, I wanted to make these transferable, so whether you're going on a car trip with your family, or you're seated at your desk, or even at home on the couch, these positions can get a little tense, and if you follow along today with these stretches, you might see some benefit from those. And first of all, Moretti, we'd like to talk about ergonomics, so how to sit in general.
Sure.
So if we'd like to go over some of those things with you.
So if you are in a seat that allows you to, adjust, you want to try to make sure that when you're sitting, you're all right angles. So you've got a right angle, your thighs are parallel to the floor, or if anything, your knees are slightly higher, so you have a bit of a tip to your pelvis. That when you're working at your desk, your arms are at right angles and your wrists are flat, so that when you're typing, your screen should be high enough that you don't have to dip your head down to look at the screen, so it should be straight in front of you. So, lots of people tend to slouch or lean back. You should be sitting up as straight as possible. I mean, you could have a backrest, but it is really all about your posture when you're working. When you're typing, your wrist shouldn't be down on the surface. They should actually be up in the air, so that you have a straight line here, but it also helps reduce repetitive injuries. And then some people prefer to stand at a standing desk, sort of the same thing. If you are standing, you want right angles on your elbow and straight wrist as possible.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
But if you're lounging in front of the TV, watching TV, you don't have to sit like this, obviously.
Yeah. Next, if we'd like to do it, go right into some stretching.
Cool.
So if you'd like to demonstrate, Moretti, I will have you move your chair over slightly. Should be okay. One more point if you want to face me, with the side with ergonomics. I know we talked a lot about 90-degree angles, and something to be mindful of is your back as well, to keep your spine nice and neutral. If you can see this position, there is a tendency, if you want to kind of lean forward just a little bit, to slouch. And what this will do is cause pain over time, and you might feel it in your neck as well as your shoulders. So if you want to go ahead and turn and face the front. We're going to go through a series of stretches without a resistance band today, and then we will start to incorporate that as well. The first one, he's sitting in a great, nice posture. I'm going to have him stick one leg all the way out in front of him, just like this, as much as he can. This stretch here is great because in that position where your leg is bent, your hamstring can tighten up, which is muscle right in the back of your leg. But this also allows him to keep his quad, the muscle right in front, engaged.
Can I put it down?
Yeah, this is a great one to hold for a period of time.
Not that long.
And not that long. You can switch between legs.
For a count of what? What's a good, like a count of 5 or?
I would recommend a count of 15.
Oh, okay.
And you can do it, if you're just starting out, maybe 10 seconds, and then switch back and forth. Again, it doesn't need to be back and forth rapid. You can take breaks. The good thing about these exercises that we're going through today, they're very quick, easy to do, and as you can see, he's still in a seated position.
Yeah. I could even do it while I'm on the phone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While you're on the phone talking to someone, you could be doing one of these stretches to help you out. Having said that, you'll notice that some of these you will actually be able to do in a car as well.
Not this one.
Not this one,
Yeah.
unless your seat's really far back, which you might be able to pull off.
Or in the back seat.
So next, I'll have him do some ankle circles. So if you just want to lightly pull your ankle up, exactly.
Like this?
Yep. So a little bit of an ankle mobility exercise. Again, we're trying to work the whole body because while in a seated position, you tend to become a little bit stiff. And exactly, just wanting to do some circles. Again, with this, I would recommend doing 10 small circles. Something else you might have heard in the past, you can draw with your foot, kind of with your toes, draw the alphabet out. That's something you can do as well. It's kind of a fun, entertaining way to keep busy. Again, do that with both feet.
Not at the same time.
You can do it at the same time if you like. The world is your oyster.
That's all core, yeah?
All core, exactly. Another thing we spoke about earlier is his posture with his shoulders. So this next stretch is really great and easy to do in a seated position, not really well on the phone. I'm going to have him take him and put both arms above his head while he's seated. And if you actually turn to face me, perfect, stay right where you are. Excellent. And if you can notice his hands, they are kind of lined up with his ears, and that's ideal. There might be some tension behind, right in his shoulder blades. But this stretch allows you to open up some of the muscles in the front of the armpit area. And it really does allow you to relax some of the ones in the back that become overstretched. So excellent. Yeah.
And then is it a up and down motion or just?
With this particular exercise, I would just reach as high as you can to feel the full benefit. And the kind of the key concept here is try to reach far back as you can.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And another one with the hands, which you can stay right in this seated position, is a great tricep exercise, and it will also target the muscles that we just spoke about as well. If you'd like to take one arm up behind your head, and you can put a little pressure with the other arm. If you can see this, great. And this again, kind of targeting the same area, but as well as some of the side here. Again, kind of fighting against that posture that we spoke about. People tend to lean forward when they're typing for long periods of time, or just computer work in general.
So you could even go from, excuse me, this stretch down to this one,
Yeah.
and back up, and
Yeah.
then switch.
You could take a break between the stretches. The only thing to be kind of aware of here in this stretch is some people have a tendency when they're pulling the elbow they're trying to stretch to put a little bit of pressure on their head, which can be bad for the neck. So you just want to kind of be careful of that. One last big stretch, excuse me, to do for the chest, kind of open it up, is you take your arms and you can actually reach behind your chair or behind you, either way. And this one's hard to see, but what you can do in pretty much any chair is use the chair for assistance for the stretch. And while he has his hands locked like this, he can actually lean forward just slightly. And it'll kind of amplify and add to that stretch, but he'll feel it in through here, tops of his shoulders as well. And this is a great stretch again to help with the shoulders. Perfect. Perfect. If you'd like to stand up for the next one, it's very simple.
Do I need the chair?
No.
Okay.
But this one's very simple. So at your desk, we talked about quite a few of the body parts, but another one that's really good to stretch, and it will target his lower back as well as his hamstrings, which we spoke about earlier. It's just having his feet right underneath his shoulders. And then he's going to keep a nice straight flat back that we talked about earlier, and he's just going to try to reach, he's going to walk his hands down the front of his legs close to his toes as possible. Nice and slow. He's keeping a nice straight back. Excellent. You want to remember to breathe while you're doing this exercise. You can get breathe 2 or 3 times throughout the whole thing. Slowly come up the same way you went down. And this is a great way, again, at least when I'm sitting for a while, to kind of stretch out that back.
Standing up too quickly might give you a little head rush and dizziness. So
Exactly.
It's a really good idea to do it slowly.
Yeah, especially if you've been sitting for a long period of time, you might feel a little faint, lightheaded, dizziness from doing that exercise. And while you're standing, we'll actually do one more. In this exercise, you could do seated. You can kind of pull it off in a car. It's just stretching your spine. So what I'll have him do, you can have your arms to your sides, you can have your arms up here, whichever you prefer, and then you just want to twist to the side. This allows for some mobility in the spine, allowing it to turn. Something to note, he's doing it perfectly. If you have a tendency to lean forward while you're typing, or you notice some of your shoulder postures off, you always want to do this stretch with a nice straight back.
And it uses your back differently if your arms are up versus down.
Yeah.
It just feels different on the rotation. So, and you could even do the rotation with your arm in different positions, and it just stretches your body differently.
Yeah, exactly. We have a few more to do if you'd like to pull the chair back into play.
Okay. Am I in it or behind it?
In it.
Okay.
Something we neglected to talk about earlier, very simple stretch, nothing to do with the extremities, but we want to stretch the neck. A lot of stiffness and soreness comes from the neck, which kind of all-encompassing relates to the shoulders. So what I'm going to have Moretti do here in perfect fashion is tilt his head to the side, left and right. Again, keeping it in a good position, forward and back first. Again, what we're focused on here is the tendency to, if your computer screen's not at that perfect height, or you've been in a position longer than you thought, it allows those muscles to kind of relax and stretch out.
I've also seen some people even just put their hand on the side, but their tendency is to pull. And so you should avoid doing that, because then that would add additional strain on your neck. So there is, you really just focus on stretching on your own instead of yanking on your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And something to keep in mind with all these stretches is that if you feel pain or too much discomfort with any of them, that's not the level you're trying to get to. Just a light stretch of the muscle.
Yeah.
And as well as he was doing the side to side, you can also do, if it feels good, you can do a forward and back, kind of reach your chin down to your chest, and then you can lean your head back and kind of look up to the ceiling, both of which add some more flexibility, mobility to your neck as well. And I would like to say the WIC certified activity code today is flexibility as well.
So should you rotate your head? Do your head in a circle like we did?
Yep, you can certainly do that. So like we did with the ankle circles, something you can do again while you're on the phone, while you're in the car. Very simple exercises. Just slowly roll your head all the way around.
Unless you're driving.
Unless you're driving. Please focus on the road.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Next, we're just going to show a few, probably 2 or 3 exercises with a resistance band. This is an open resistance band, as opposed to a closed one, which would be tied off, or kind of an infinite circle. So if you want to take this one in each hand, some of this, doing it with a resistance band, will just add to the stuff we've already spoken of. If you'd like to add a little bit of tension, perfect. So what I'm going to have him do is keep his hands out in front of him. And then this one's great because while he's doing this, he's engaging all these muscles in his back, whether he knows it or not. And then all he's going to do is take that and raise it right above his head.
So keep my wrists facing each other, right?
Yep, keep your wrists facing each other so your thumbs could be in the air, and raising it right up. And this he'll feel more than just doing it without a resistance band. So if you have a tool like this, it'd be great to use. But I'm sure you're feeling it all in your upper back. And the reason we're doing this and focused on this, like I had said before, these muscles in the back, because of that position, become overstretched. So it's great to kind of activate those throughout the day. It's excellent.
So how you can determine how much resistance you put in there, right?
Yep.
So if you're really working really hard, or if it's just a light pull, it engages the muscles differently.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you'd like to take the resistance band from your position and kind of step on it with both of your feet.
Yep.
Or one foot, either way. Something you might want to let go. I'm going to have you do like a curl, a bicep curl with it.
Okay.
Exactly. So you just bring your palm facing up, all the way up as close to your shoulder as possible, engaging the bicep here. Again, with this, note that you could stand just with one foot. That'll decrease the tension. He's with both. Exactly. You can do a single arm.
Single arm with both, or just
Yeah,
one?
just one at a time.
Got it.
Would be good as well. Perfect. And then one more. I'll help you demonstrate it. So if I'm the fixed structure, if you have a doorknob or something, you can put this around, or anything really, as long as it's a fixed structure that won't move, because that could be dangerous. So I'll have you grab that. And while he's seated, he's just going to pull it like he's doing a row. And this will work some of his back muscles as well. So if you want to keep your elbows in, perfect. Just pulling it closer to him. Exactly.
So with my wrist facing down?
Yep, they can be facing down. They can be facing neutral position.
Mm-hmm.
They can be facing up as well.
Make sure your fixed position truly is fixed.
Yes, as you can see here, if it wasn't.
I didn't have it around the doorknob well enough, and it came at me. So
That happened to you. Yeah.
So I'm a little hesitant right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Again, that you can increase the tension on that as much
Yeah.
as you want by just wrapping it around or grabbing further up.
And there's some flexibility with different resistance bands. Like I said, this one's open. If you find one that's closed, tied in a knot, complete circle or loop, there's some other stretches you can do a little bit more easily. I could have him put it around his knees if you just want to hold that. You'd kind of put your feet through it.
Yep.
You can tie it together if you'd like.
It's okay.
And with more resistance, all you'd want to do, and this is kind of a harder one, keep your feet, I'm going to bring your feet together.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd really need more resistance, and then you would just bring your knees outward. So you'd really want more resistance, but
Okay.
he'll actually feel this right through the side of his leg. And this is a great exercise, again, if you're seated. Some of those muscles, they have that pressure on them during the whole day or period that you're sitting, and to do this is a great way to activate or stimulate those muscles, kind of get the blood moving again, which all these exercises are good for as well.
So keeping your feet together versus having them out. And
Yeah, you
going
could do
further.
both.
Okay.
You'll kind of feel it in different areas if you have
Yeah.
your feet close together or if you had them out nice and wide.
Yep. Okay. And it's really all about how much resistance you put into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It can be very easy, nice and light. Again, this exercise or stretch that he just did, you could do without a resistance band. You could just do it just to get that kind of mobility going, just to move, which is excellent. Perfect.
What other one?
I think that's it. Unless you'd like to go over, talk about any others.
No. So, I mean, even with any of these stretches, you could do. I mean, that's less of a stretch, maybe more of an exercise. But with the resistance band, it's something that's really portable. You can take anywhere with you.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the car, have it in your desk drawer, and then pull it out. Sometimes I'm a little fidgety when I'm on the phone, so there's even times where I'll be doing something like this while I'm on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really any kind of movement, and that resistance band just adds that level to your movement. So perfect. Yeah, so those are just a few exercises or stretches that you can do with the resistance band and without. There's, of course, like we discussed, almost an infinite level.
The CDC recently had put out 10 office exercises you could do in your cubicle, and there were a number of folks who rated them on ability to do at your desk, humiliation factor, and sweat factor. So we can find the link and have it posted here as well. But you know, some of them were just about just standing up in your space and moving. Some people even use doorways and just hold the edge of the door and lean out. So that opens up your chest and gets a lot of movement in there as well, or on the top of the doorway and leaning out a little bit as well.
Awesome, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning in today. We went over some office stretching and a little bit more. Next time we could do some more exercises with the resistance band, but we might talk about screen time and trying to take a break from screen time as well. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.